Welcome to Horror Year, where every story is a journey into the unknown. If you're brave enough to face your darkest fears and uncover the most chilling tales, you've come to the right place. So, dim the lights, turn up the volume, and subscribe to Horror Year. Your journey into terror begins now. The town of Glenwood was renowned for its picturesque charm, a serene escape nestled among rolling hills and dense forests. But behind its idyllic facade lay a dark secret that had haunted the community for decades. The old Whitaker mansion, standing abandoned on the outskirts, had become a symbol of fear and superstition. For 20 years, its boarded-up windows and overgrown yard had served as a grim reminder of the macabre events that unfolded within its walls. The mansion's chilling legend, marked by the bizarre and unsettling deaths of the Whitaker family, drew curious souls like Alex Bennett. A young journalist with a penchant for the macabre, Alex was determined to unravel the mystery behind the house's sinister reputation. With Halloween approaching, he ventured into the mansion, armed with a flashlight, a camera, and a notebook, hoping to shed light on the dark enigma that had terrified Glenwood for so long. Everyone in the calm community of Glenwood was aware of one another's business. Tucked up amidst undulating hills and thick forests, it appeared almost too ideal, a picture-perfect scene of peace. However, Glenwood, like many peaceful communities, was not without its secrets, none more sinister than the one that clung to the old Whitaker mansion on the outskirts of town. The Whitaker residence had been deserted for many years, with its windows covered with boards and its yard overrun with weeds. Most people in the community avoided it since it was an eyesore, especially after dark. The house's sinister reputation had been gained by a string of terrifying incidents that started one fateful night. 20 years ago, the Whitaker family had been discovered murdered in the living room, their bodies arranged in a macabre tableau. Every family member had a frozen, unsettlingly broad smile on their faces. There were no indications of conflict or violence. The case swiftly became clouded in stories and superstitions, leaving the authorities perplexed. Whispers circulated that the Whitakers were cursed to have those terrifying smiles by a wicked entity. Since then, the house had remained unoccupied. Young journalist Alex Bennett has always been drawn to this sinister past and had a taste for the macabre. The Whitaker mansion was the subject of many urban legends and ghost stories that Alex had grown up hearing. He decided it was time to find out as Halloween drew near. Equipped with a diary, a flashlight, and a camera, he set out to solve the mystery surrounding the house. Alex felt a chill go down his spine the instant he walked inside. There was a lot of dust and neglect in the air. The shadows it created on the walls were irregular as his flashlight flickered. The Whitaker family's living room, which had been discovered, was just as it had been left, with white sheets covering the furnishings and a chilly silence permeating the space. The ancient family photos that were still hung unevenly on the walls were visible as Alex's flashlight swept across the space. Those same eerie smiles were on the features in the paintings, eyes that seemed to follow him around. He walked over to the enormous mirror over the fireplace in the center of the room. Though a heavy layer of filth coated it, Alex was still able to see his reflection, his face distorted and ghostly in the low light. Alex discovered a strange journal stashed away in a secret compartment under the floorboards as he continued his investigation. It was Mrs. Whitaker's private journal. With caution, he opened it and looked through the yellowed pages. The notes began with banal details of family life and ended abruptly with furious scrawls. The final few pages had a dark stain on them, like blood. Mrs. Whitaker's increasing terror and paranoia were chronicled in the notes, which culminated in the terrifying entry, "The smile is growing. It is resistant to release. It desires our eternal happiness." Alex heard a slight rustle from behind him. He pivoted, his torch beam flitting wildly through the shadows. The air became extremely cold, and there seemed to be a low, gritty murmur coming from the walls. A cold grip enveloped his shoulder. Alex spun around, seeing only shadows, and his heart raced. Then he saw something horrifying. The room's furniture started to move slightly, as if someone was moving it behind his back. The old armchair gently moved to face him, creaking in the process. The smiles in the pictures appeared to becoming broader and more sinister. Alex noticed the Whitaker family's forms emerging in the foggy mirror, their eyes sunken and beseeching, their smiles now hideous. Alex attempted to flee in a hurry, but the front door banged shut loudly. After being boarded up, the windows appeared to be alive, with their wooden planks bending and twisting. The whispers became louder and more forceful as the room seemed to close in around him. The home seemed to be alive, feeding off of his anxiety. In a state of desperation, Alex took out his camera and started taking images in the hopes of finding proof of the paranormal. He noticed something horrific in the pictures: the Whitaker family's reflections, their eyes glowing with a malevolent light, and their smiles appearing impossible to miss. Additionally, Alex's looks in each picture were gradually beginning to resemble theirs, with a frozen smile across his features. The murmurs became a chorus of voices yelling at him to join them and smile. Fighting the growing panic, Alex tried to make sense of what was going on. He came to understand that the house was not merely haunted, but also cursed by a force that made its victims wear the same horrifying grin as a symbol of its dominance. The grins were an expression of the curse, a means by which the mansion imprisoned spirits in a perpetual state of warped joy. Alex felt one last rush of energy and used a nearby vase to smash a window, sending glass flying in 1,000 pieces. His heart pounding, he scrambled through the aperture and ran into the night. He rushed, seemingly clinging to the house's stifling aura, but he didn't stop until he was well outside the town. In the days that followed, Alex attempted to interpret the events. When he looked through the pictures he had taken, all he saw were the Whitaker family's strange, strained smiles. The images seemed to lose their meaning, leaving just a nagging feeling of unease. The Whitaker house's reputation for dread grew with every year that went by, and it remained an unsolved mystery. Alex moved on from Glenwood, but the cursed smile followed, skewing his perceptions and disturbing his sleep. He was aware that some mysteries were better kept unsolved, and that the dead smile served as a terrifying reminder of the horrors that exist on the other side of reality, rather than merely being a hideous artifact.